Well, a night of passionate debate is expected as the Jacksonville City Council is ready to vote on the city's budget. This year with some added public scrutiny, with critics calling for cuts to the budget of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and reinvestment into the community. Protesters have had several demonstrations on the steps of City Hall throughout this entire budget process. Let's go live now to David Jones. He has been following the story closely. He has the latest about what to expect tonight at City Hall. David?
Jeannie, we've been listening into this virtual meeting, that public comment, that passionate debate that you mentioned just began. Tons of speakers on the queue. This is going to be a really long night. Many of those speakers, those activists who had been protesting here on the steps of City Hall, saying that they feel that the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office budget is bloated to the tune of nearly $500 million annually, and they want to see some of that money reinvested back into the community. So ahead of the council voting on the budget, which could happen any time now, I went to City Council Finance Committee Chairman Matt Carlucci to find out where City Council and protesters could see eye to eye.
It's prevention, intervention, and enforcement, and we need to be doing everything we can in those three categories.
Councilmember Matt Carlucci says he's heard the demands of protesters and he's been looking for middle ground. He's against cuts to JSO, contending most of the agency's costs go to personnel, but like protesters, is for programs that battle crime before it happens. He attempted to raise the millage rate slightly to create funding for prevention and intervention. That proposal ultimately failed in the council.
We would have had $16 to $17 million at our disposal to use towards these type of programs that people want them used for, to invest in our community, invest in our young people.
Councilman Garrett Dennis proposed a budget amendment that would move 50% of JSO's budget below the line, meaning the agency would have to come back to ask for the rest of the money down the road. That amendment likely to fail.
Mayor Lenny also wading into the political back and forth over police funding, saying on Twitter this morning the majority of Jacksonville residents oppose cuts to JSO. However, we're still working to confirm the numbers that he posted online. Again, all council meetings happening virtually now, so we are listening in. Of course, going to be a very long night as they start to hear these public comments. So we will, of course, continue to keep you updated on air and online at firstcoastnews.com. We're live at City Hall. David Jones, First Coast News, on your side.